Who is Sombra?
Huh?
Who is Sombra?
Dude, I don't know who Sombra is. Are you kidding me?
What is this?
Nobody knows.
Sombra.
¿Quién es Sombra?
Who is Sombra?
I'm pretty sure all the ARG folk have just given up already.
What is going on right now?
Oh shit, we're on Dorado already.
Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast.
Are we in the podcast right now? Is that right?
Are we going to start making musical intros for this podcast?
No, I what happened was someone had said, who is Sombra? And I'm like, who is Sombra? And I did that exact thing and I thought it'd be funny. Okay, Josh, back the fuck up.
Oh.
Fucking guest of my goddamn podcast.
Mitch, are you okay? You need to talk about something?
No, fuck off. Okay, so everyone, hey, welcome. I'm in a good mood. Hey, everyone, welcome to another episode of the podcast. I think this is episode 6.
Sounds about right.
I want to say this is episode 6.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're in episode 6. So, for those of you who don't know, we were away for a bit.
Yeah.
Last week we last week we recorded an episode of the podcast. Me and Gangbudo did, and then I realized I was gonna try to say I realized that I can't do it without Sora, but that's a blatant lie. What happened was there was a lot of editing issues on this end, so we couldn't get the episode out in time. So hopefully this episode will come out tomorrow and it'll be okay. But before we go into any further into this podcast, I think it's more important to announce that this upcoming week, the first week of September, essentially, we're not gonna have a lot of videos out, because I'm going to get my wisdom teeth taken out, so I'm gonna be out of commission for a while, and as I've mentioned in the videos before, I'm the one who does a lot of the editing for the channel and stuff. So
by a lot, you mean all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be out of commission for a bit. So this will be the last video for a little bit, and then I'm gonna try my best to get something out by next Sunday. So I want to get at least one more video out before then, and obviously I'll try my best to be ready for the stream this upcoming week. But actually, that's a perfect way to get into this. So let's start with our weeks this week, let's cover the 2-week span since the last time we did the podcast.
I don't even remember what happened 2 days ago, let alone 2 weeks ago.
How drunk are you?
Very. Always.
Non-stop, man.
Perpetually drunk. God. Well, who wants to go first this time? Also, Josh, just to let everyone know, Josh is still only a guest of the Velvet.
Wow, okay.
He is not an official member.
Second-class citizen.
You are.
The only second-class citizen, as far as I know.
Gangbudo sends her apologies that she cannot be here this week.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Yeah. So how about this? I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, do it. Yeah. I need to remember what I did this week.
Okay, so I spent a lot of my time playing Overwatch.
Whoa!
As you guys, I know it almost seems like this is every week.
Dude, man, you gotta show some moderation there.
No, I want to keep playing Overwatch. I played a lot of Zarya. Just because I figured I should, I'm slowly working my way through every hero.
Zarya, best tank.
She is a lot more fun than I thought she was gonna be. It reminds me a lot of I know this is gonna be kind of a weird comparison, but Dark Knights in FF, where the more you damage the shield, the stronger she gets. So, there's this really interesting thing where it's you look up some guides and the guides will tell you, oh yeah, wait for one of your allies to start getting shot at and then put up the shield. Don't do it preemptively. Do it while they're getting shot at. When that first bullet hits their kneecap, then you protect them.
So that they're that much more grateful.
Right.
Exactly.
Look how close to death you are.
It's like the Mercies who wait for like 5 people to be dead so that they can look cool and get play of the game.
Right.
So there was a lot of that, but like the one that really I've got a quick story. I hope you guys don't mind with my week.
Lay it on us.
That was friend of the channel Rhyme popped in earlier this week to give me my birthday present that she's been wanting to give me for a while. And she's like, Mitchell, I know you're into Overwatch. And she looks over at my like little figurine area, and she sees that I have a pop figure Tracer, and she's like, well, sorry. And I have this cute boxed Overwatch figure of Tracer.
Oh, that's nice. So you have one that's new in box and one that's opened.
Yeah, I never felt more like more of a dork in my life. I've never thought I'd have like a boxed figurine.
Oh, I'm getting amiibo flashbacks right now, dude. Oh my god. Oh Christ.
But we spent the entire time we were hanging out playing Overwatch and showing her the shorts, and I've completely converted her to Overwatch. It's a religion at this point.
I feel like Overwatch is sort of it tries to make itself really accessible to people who aren't necessarily into this kind of game.
Oh, you're talking to it right now. You're talking to the primary example of that.
Yeah, definitely. I was not thinking Mitch would be so into Overwatch as he is right now, you know?
She asked me why, like, before I started showing her everything, she asked me why it was that I was so into Overwatch, and I feel like I keep giving Blizzard this perpetual hand job as time goes on, because
people have been doing it. Many people have been doing that for much longer. So
don't worry, you're still a kid compared to all those guys. Holy shit.
I feel like you shouldn't say that, Josh. You shouldn't say that I am a child giving Blizzard. Never mind. Anyways,
with my own statements.
God damn it!
Oh my god.
All right, so the things that make Overwatch just really great, in my opinion, was just like, cause I just brought them up, was like, I think it's really cool that all the heroes are over the age of 25, or most of them are at least. There's something really cool in all anime and all medias. The heroes are always in their early 20s, or in Japan, or at least in anime, it seems like a lot of the characters are in their early teens or in their mid-teens.
Yeah, high schoolers. Yeah,
high schoolers, middle schoolers.
So it's always cool. So one of the big draws for me with Overwatch was like looking at Tracer and she's 26, she's older than me, or looking at Soldier 76 and all these really cool badass grandpa characters. Or I mean, just everyone's older, and there's this like feeling of like, wow, you mean we can be awesome when we're not teenagers? Says the media. The fact that all the heroes are like of different ethnicities and races, and just it's really cool. And it's that thing that I always complain about with the Avengers, where it's like, Avengers, the world's greatest heroes, most of them are from America. Maybe isn't one of them from like Russia or something? Like I feel like that's always the like. But mentality.
I mean, that's kind of a symptom of like like the actual superheroes' origins, right? You know, like since these characters are so old, like in American culture, you know, like they were made back when that was, you know, I don't want to say normal, but
no, but that was
back when there was no
norm.
representation of anybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's so I guess it's like
but you see Marvel
is...
and DC trying to diversify themselves even now. You know what I mean? But anyways, I digress. Yeah.
But like that's the thing with Overwatch, where it's like, it's like one of my favorite heroes is fucking Pharah, and she's just the coolest.
Yeah.
She's so fucking cool, and she's 32 years old, and like. I don't know. There's just something about it just really like makes me feel great about like these heroes, and just it makes me like look. It kind of reminds me of being a kid, like looking up to them and stuff. Yeah, kind of.
We don't just have to have children and still slowly decline into our 40s.
Or better yet, we don't have to have these old veteran characters like retire on the sidelines. You can still have cool ass older characters.
So. My question for you is, so the Summer Games event just ended, right? Did you get all the skins that you wanted? Because I know I didn't.
We were asked that on stream, and my answer was I got Lucio, I got American Flag McCree, and I got Zarya. I did not get.
Shit. You got
the three
Zarya?
I wanted.
Oh yeah, I got Zarya.
I didn't get Diva, I didn't get Tracer, and I didn't get I don't play him ever, but I wanted Genji.
Oh,
so
man.
I
Oh
still
yes,
Genji and Diva had really
that skin's
good
so
skins.
sick. Oh, I love that skin.
God.
I use it all the time.
It looks so good. You know, I want someone to model swap fucking Genji with just like fucking Raiden. And like and just do that.
The skin is just freaking Raiden. That's the skin name in the shop.
It says Platinum Games, and that's the skin.
Yep.
Speaking of which, let me finish that
Rules
story
of
real
Nature
quick, and
starts
then.
playing when you ult.
Yeah.
God damn. No, anytime he ults, yeah. Like, God damn it. Dead on! Anyways, so after we played a bunch of rounds and stuff, I showed her some cosplay videos, and that's where we both kind of lost it. Everyone who cosplays from Overwatch is a goddamn angel. Like, they are so wonderful and beautiful, and like.
So really, it's just Mercy?
Shut up. So that was the most immature way of me responding. Was just saying shut up. There's
here.
really beautiful divas, really awesome Lucios, really creative Reinhardts. I love the cardboard box Reinhardt man. There's also cardboard box Diva. There's Budget Watch, which is really funny. There's a Soldier 76 that is just in short, like American flag shorts and a shirt that says Best Dad, carrying around a wallet that has like, look at my kids, and it's like all of the heroes of Overwatch. It's so wonderful. Like I love it so much. And she Kaylee looks at the screen and sees this wonderfully done bunny girl, and she's like, "Who is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's Diva." and she's like, "What does she do?" And like she goes around in a mech and shoots the enemies and stuff. And she's Korean. She's like, "I have to cosplay this character." And I'm like, "Okay, good."
Okay, good. Yes.
So I guess she's coming with us to Yumacon, and that's really fun. So now that I finished that thought, there's something I need to get into real quick with another thing that happened during the week. I watched for the first time Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh wow.
Really? You haven't seen it?
You hadn't seen that before?
It is something that has been on my list of things to do forever, and I was supposed to watch it last year at RockCon, and for obvious reasons that didn't happen. So we instead, friend of the channel Mika came over, and it's a whole different thing.
So you just watched it with Mika then? Did you go to an event?
Yeah,
or?
no, we just watched it. Here in the Velvet Room.
Okay, that's good. Should definitely. Well, I guess what did you think about it? Did you like it?
Oh, it is phenomenal. I truly enjoyed it more than like I thought I would. Like honestly, I was really concerned about the overhype, but like the fact that we were isolated in this room rather than being in a theater with a bunch of people who really love it, really made it better. Like made the experience a lot better. And the truth of the matter is like it was just fun.
Yeah.
We kept making jokes the entire time. It was great.
That's good. That being said, you should definitely go out and try and see that in like an event and stuff, because it is like, it's really fun. It is a lot of fun to go to an event like that.
I hear like there's a local theater like just down the road that does like the first week every month. So
yeah, perfect.
I might have to give it a shot and then come back on the podcast and tell you guys what's up.
Oh, man.
But to preamble that a bit. I played Pokemon Go in a park for hours with Mika.
Oh, you finally got a phone that runs Pokemon Go?
I cherry rigged my phone.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I'm only level 8, and I'm Team Instinct because Team Instinct's guy is like a meme loving piece of shit. and I'm like, you know what? I love all the other teams. Like the other two team leaders are like super hot, but I think I'm just gonna deal with Mr. Spark here.
Well, wait, dude. So when you picked your team, did they show you who the people were? Like so when I picked my team, it was just silhouettes. So
no, it was just silhouettes, but I've known for a long time thanks to things like Tumblr.
See, I picked team. The blue team. Wow, I already forgot.
Mystic,
thank you. And all we had was back in my day, we just had silhouettes to go off of. We didn't know if they were hot or not.
You just had Virgil from Devil May Cry was your goddamn gym leader.
Yeah, pretty much, girl Virgil. I'm okay with that.
Oh, I think Blanc is supposed to be like. I think it's like ambiguous whether or not.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
I can't tell. I don't know.
Whatever floats their boat.
It seems like that's what Tumblr is kind of saying.
Oh, well, okay.
I will be the first to be like, you two are guys who are normally on Reddit. I'm the guy who's on Tumblr. I'm willing to admit that one. But I like that a lot, though. I think that's a great idea. But that being said, it was definitely a different experience because we went to a park essentially. It was me, Mika, and essentially her mom was there and like a mom's friend, and we all just hung out and collected Pokemon, and I caught a Dratini, and I was really happy about that.
Nice.
And other people were coming around, so this was like my first like real like social experience of Pokemon Go. But the funniest thing about this, and I'm really glad that I'm pretty sure Mika does not watch the podcast. So the funniest thing about this was the fact that some other people came around and I swear to God, Sora, you're from Ohio too.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that there's like apparently certain areas of Ohio people just have like really thick Southern accents?
I've heard Southern accents in Ohio. I didn't know there was pockets of people, like communities that had Southern accents. I just figured they were from out of state or something.
The funniest. I kept flashing back to the previous podcast. we're just, one of my favorite things about Dratini.
Oh my God.
Is, I have a specific Gyarados that you only has these movesets that you can't get anymore. And I'm like, I am trying my hardest not to laugh. And it had nothing to do with the fact that that's how they talked. It was blatantly me remembering my own shitty joke.
Wow.
And these guys were like in their like 30s or something, which is something else I've learned a lot about Pokemon Go. Because of the area we're in, it seems like a lot of people who play Pokemon Go are like people in their mid 30s, parents and
really?
Like a lot
Interesting.
of that. A lot of that. I really want to go to New York so I can like experience Pokemon the way you do.
I don't experience much of it anymore since I don't play it, but if you were to come, we should go to Central Park because that's where like the holy grail of Pokemon is. Yeah, that's where all the rare Pokemon are in Central Park.
Just make a pilgrimage to.
That's the Indigo League right there, guys.
I really want to just, I've been putting it off for a while. We should really come over sometime.
Yeah, man, come make the trek up. I understand it's a long hike, so.
Oh, dude,
it'd be awesome.
We went to RIT for the forever.
Yeah, that's true. But it's even longer, dude. It's like a solid 8-hour drive. So.
Oh, jeez, I remember now because I went to go to the Vocaloid concert a few years back.
Oh yeah.
As I stare at the Miku Expo fucking wall scroll we have up. But speaking of which, we're talking about the con circuit again. Making our rounds essentially. For those of you who don't know, we run a few panels here and there. I missed my chance to do anything at Umicon this year, but I don't think I've ever done anything at Umicon actually because I think Umicon's like my relaxation con. And this year I really just want to see all the Overwatch cosplay and just like while I'm in my Lapis cosplay, I think it'll be fun.
You're cosplaying as Lapis?
Punk AU Lapis.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Because I think it'd be fun. But anyways, so the point is that we're trying to figure out what conventions we want to go to, and I was going to ask. I wasn't supposed to ask on the podcast, but I'm going to ask anyways. Sora, do you want to go back to Tora anytime soon? Is that a thing you want to do?
I could. I don't know where I'm going to be. Come around that time, but I'd definitely be down to visit. I mean, it would be a good excuse to A, go to ToraCon, B, go back to visit friends that are still in the area from school, because there's a few of those. So yeah, I'd be down.
Okay, because I'm thinking we didn't go. No, wait, we went last year, did we? Wait, no, did
We did not go last. Wait.
Fuck. No, wait, we didn't go this year.
No. This year we did not go to. We went last year though.
Okay, this is not the topic to be talking on the podcast. Right, I apologize for you guys, but no, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So, anyways, so I think that's essentially my week. The other big things that happened were like things that like I need to talk about, like later on during the main subject stuff. Which I think I already forgot one of them.
Okay,
but like,
we'll figure it out. We'll play it by ear. We'll just.
All right. So who wants to go next on their weeks?
I can, I guess. First things first, I finished Stranger Things, finally.
Oh, man.
That was it. That was the other thing we needed to talk about.
Do I just, like, log out while,
No. Oh, shit. Josh, have you started it at all yet?
Unfortunately, no. I haven't had a chance.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
What we might do is we might just have you, like, we might mute you.
What? No, it's fine. It's all good. It's good. I enjoyed it. I thought the ending was solid. I'm happy they're making a second season. Really enjoyable.
Oh, is it confirmed for a second?
Oh yeah, they confirmed second season. Yeah, that thing's
I need to restart my Netflix subscription.
Yeah, it's worth it.
If only just for that.
Yeah, like it's been doing really well for them. It's been doing really well for Netflix apparently. So yeah, they confirmed they're doing a second season.
Like I hear so many good things about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't let I don't want the hype to poison it for you. You know what I mean? Like I don't want you to get too overhyped for it because it is a simple series. You know what I mean? Like it's nice in that it's just kind of like its own thing. But
don't let it get oversaturated.
Yeah, it's not the greatest thing ever, but it's really solid and it's fun. It's fun to watch. And I'm trying to think of what else I've been keeping up with. I started Narcos. That's gonna be kind of random, but yeah, like I have a friend at work that I promised him that if he watched Stranger Things, I would watch Narcos because he really likes Narcos. So I did that. I'm like halfway through it. Do you guys, either of you, know what it's about at all?
Not really.
Okay.
I've only seen it every time I log into Netflix.
So basically, it's like a stylized. It's about Pablo Escobar, like big, like cocaine drug kingpin in Colombia. During the 80s and stuff, so it's like shot in like it's like almost like documentary style, but it's all acted. Like it's none of it's like real footage. They use real photos every now and again, but and it's like good so far. I like it, but it's not really my thing. I'm gonna finish it, I guess, because I'm already halfway through it. But it's well acted and stuff, but I don't know. It's a little heavy for me, I guess, just because I mean, you can probably guess by the subject matter that it gets kind of bleak at times.
Like BoJack Horseman bleak.
Not even like that. Like that's like deeply personal and stuff. Like this is just like like people are just like getting killed left and right. Like there are people that are overdosing on coke because they've smuggled it into their they eat bags of it to smuggle it into the States, and then it breaks and then they die from overdose. It's a bad scene. It's a bad scene all around. It's fascinating, but it's like, oh man, I don't know. I'll finish it. It's well acted. It's a fun watch. And besides that, I've just been keeping up with Mob Psycho 100. Continues to be probably my favorite anime this season.
Can't wait for the next episode tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm really really enjoying that show. Mitch, honestly, like if you have the time, try and check it out.
It's like it's got so much more heart than One Punch Man.
Yeah, and even without the criticism, with the comparisons, it's a really special show. I really enjoy it, and I just hope it sticks the landing. It looks like it's going to. And then like as far as games go, I've been playing some Final Fantasy here and there. Because my friends and I have all been really busy lately, we haven't been gotten together as much as we'd like to. So progress is kind of slowing down a little bit. I have a level 43 warrior right now. So we're almost at Heaven's Ward content. We're so close.
Oh, you are not.
No, damn it.
I don't want to be the one that like destroys that mentality, but it's like I don't want you to get to 50 and think that it's right there. Like there's like at least a full year of other patch and like stuff like you have to do the story missions that have to do with like King Moogle and then Leviathan and
you're still leveling that whole time though, right? You're gaining experience, right?
Well, now you are.
Okay,
so
good.
like but during that time it was like, all right, get ready for Heavensward, and then everyone enters Heavensward, and it's the worst because everyone's like, you have to be at least level 51 or 52 to survive that stuff.
Okay. I mean, is it a lot of group content though at the end? That's the real important part.
Oh yeah, no, like that's when you really get into trials, and trials are like my favorite thing.
Okay, good. If you could like maybe start your subscription again and play with us, that'd be awesome. But
it's funny that you say that because I actually was going to try to get back into it a little bit because I really do. Halloween's just around the corner, and I didn't miss last year's event, and the Halloween stuff's always really great.
Okay.
So I want to make sure I'm in for that at least.
Yeah, and I'll keep you updated if we stick around with it or not. It's getting a little shaky for my friends. Some of them are getting a little frustrated with the game just because like we like group content a lot. Like we love running dungeons together. So that's the thing. We like running dungeons blind together. I think it went into this where we're having a lot more fun when we do a piece of group content blind, meaning like no one's ever run it before. We don't know how the bosses work. We just kind of figure it out as we go. That's way more fun. But the thing is that what happens is that like one of us will just keep on playing and we'll get to a dungeon and we're like, well, I guess I just need to stop playing and wait for everyone else to catch up. And it just takes forever because, all of our lives are in different schedules and such. And also like we're just not having fun playing by ourselves, like with like the story quests.
Are you guys in a free company?
We're not in a free company yet. No.
Okay. What's gonna happen is this. When I get my subscription again, I will I need to talk to Pale Horse, or I don't know. It's been months. If you didn't kick me out of the guild already, then whatever. But if we have 5 or 6 people, then I'm sure it would we can either join back with Econ, or we can make our own thing and have that going.
We'll figure it out. I mean, the issue is not with like not having people to play with. Like, if we wanted to, I could just find a free company and then, I would just run dungeons with them. But I want to run it with my friends that I signed up, I played the game with, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm worried that if I get too far ahead, like they'll just kind of stop playing because it's like, well, you're 10 levels above me. I'm never going to catch up. I'll just bow out, and I don't want that to happen.
You could always swap classes at that point.
Yeah, I know, but still, like, we all kind of want to experience the content at the same time, like the dungeons and stuff at the same time, Like, it's not gonna be the same, like, if I run in with a second class, being like, all right, guys, like, here's how this boss works,
I feel like that's probably one of the biggest problems with MMOs. It's that, like, everybody sort of has a different pace, and it's hard to, like, keep everybody together.
Yeah, and I've ran into the same issue with like Borderlands and stuff like that, where like like I think in Borderlands I have like 10 different characters all under level 20 just because my friends all started the game at a different time. So like, okay, I guess I'll just make a new character with you and stuff. I've played through the beginning area of that game
like
so many
sort of
goddamn
wish
times.
That there were games that had sort of better level equalization.
And to be fair, I think Final Fantasy 14 specifically is really good about that kind of stuff because like you can do what's called fates, which are like, just quests that show up in the environment that are designed for groups to tackle. So like if I'm in a level 14 area, my guy's level like 50, I have the option to level sync my guy and it'll bring him down to level 14 or around there. And I can still do quests with like my friends that are lower level, It won't get me all that much stuff, but you can still play content with your friends and not steamroll everything, which is good.
Yeah.
Same with dungeons as well. You can level sync with dungeons and stuff.
I feel like coming from a level 60 perspective, the only thing that would be a little weird with that is just like, I hate to admit this, but like when I was like doing like, oh yeah, I'll help you guys out, guild members who are like level 30, like the only thing would be like, I need to switch into a different class because if I don't, I'm not getting anything at all.
Right.
And then they tried to fix it a little with like the roulette at least, where it's like you got like tomes, but there's no real incentive to do anything once you're level 60 Like, there's no reason for you to go back to those lower stuff.
Right.
I mean,
right.
unless there's something that changed in the last couple of months that I don't know about.
I don't know. I'm not that high enough level to be in the know of that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're having a good enough time with it. I'll keep going. I leveled up I got a Dragoon as well. I finally got a Lancer to 30, and now he's a Dragoon, and I'm pretty pumped about that. So I'm probably going to end up being a Dark Knight once I'm able to become a Dark Knight, and then as my tank class, and then I'll have a Dragoon as my DPS.
Good.
What I'll heal with. Anyways, besides that, I've been, after playing AM2R, that Metroid 2 remake, I've been, I caught the Metroidvania bug really, really hard. So I've started replaying through Metroid Prime 1 again for like the 10th time. Fuck, man, that game's like one of my all-time favorites, like top 5 for sure. It's my favorite Metroid game, I think. Maybe Prime 2 is probably my favorite Metroid game, but that series of games, like, holy shit. Mitch, I know you haven't played Metroid Prime. Josh, have you?
Unfortunately, I didn't have any of the consoles for to play many of the Metroid games.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't have a GameCube. That's right.
Yeah, I think I had like one of the original Metroids on like Super Nintendo when I had that console for a little bit.
Yeah, well, Super Nintendo or Super Metroid's like kind of like it's kind of like agreed like the best Metroid, and like Metroid Prime is, for those that don't know, Metroid Prime is a first-person game, but it's like it's not a shooter. Like it looks like a shooter at first glance, but it's totally not. It's an adventure game, and it's kind of its own unique beast, and that's what I really love about it. And I think the greatest thing is that it's a now 14-year-old game. Christ on a cracker. But it still holds up really well. The environments look great. The lore is awesome. The atmosphere is just really, really solid. If you can emulate it, or like get like, you can buy like the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii U eShop, definitely do that. It's really, really good. I think it's $20 full price, and like that's absolutely worth the price because it's 3 games in one, and they're all really, really solid. I just love that game so much. I can just gush about it forever. The one thing that kind of sucks is that right now what I'm playing it on is like I said, the Wii U version, which is just a port of the Wii version, which means that I have to use the Wiimote to shoot, like to aim and stuff like that. So originally the first 2 were on the GameCube, and then the third one they made for the Wii, and the third one uses motion controls, and then they came up with the trilogy, and that retroactively put motion controls on the first 2 games. And I'm not a huge fan of those controls as much. It's fine, but like those games weren't designed for motion controls in mind, and it really kind of shows. And also, like, playing a Wii game like with a sensor bar like on like my big, like, I don't want to, this sounds like douchey, but like my big ass TV, like the Wii was made for like 32-inch screens, not 50-inch screens. You know what I mean? So it's kind of wonky. But yeah, and then other than that, I've also been playing a little bit of Axiom Verge as well, just because, like, going further down the Metroidvania thing. Have either of you guys heard of that game?
I've seen like a review of that game. It looked interesting.
Yeah, it was so. Basically, it's another Metroid game, pretty much. Like, it was the guy who it's clearly inspired by Metroid. It's almost the same game, only like except in name. You know, it's made by one dude. That's the really cool part, is that it was just developed, like the artist, like one single like one guy made the art, the programming, the music, everything, and it's a really, really, really solid Metroidvania game.
I mean, it's an interesting thing to think that like a lot of the really classic old games were made by really small teams.
That's true. That's very true.
Like,
and
Doom was made by like a whole bunch of guys in like an apartment.
Yeah, like you look at the id Team, and they're just like a bunch of dudes. Exactly, it's crazy. And they had to hack together all of these games. Like, these games are so classic, but they're just like barely held together with sticks and duct tape, you know, just because the technology wasn't there at the time, you know. But it's interesting because I think a lot of really solid design decisions came from the fact that they had limited resources. You know what I mean? Like, games are getting prettier and more expansive now, but they aren't necessarily getting better, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, I think one of the big things that's happened, though, is that it's easier for smaller teams to, like, make games that would have been, like, really, really big time and money investments, like, not even, like, 10 years ago.
That's true. And I think the smaller the team, the more unified the vision. So, like, you can get a package that comes together really in a really, really smart way. I feel like a lot of big AAA games kind of lose that now. I think Blizzard is a big exception to that. I think Naughty Dog is a pretty big exception to that as well.
I sort of want to see like a whole bunch of games that have like $1 million budgets or something, rather than like a whole bunch of like, I don't know, like $30 million games.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem, right? Is that games are getting more expensive to make now, you know, just and like because of that, the big companies are so averse to risk, because if you change too much about like your big, you know, cash cow franchise, like it's not going to sell, and you're going to have to close down teams, you know, which kind of sucks, but you know, whatever. And that's why like indies are so interesting, just because. Yeah, like, I mean, like in Kickstarter was kind of supposed to fill that void, right? Of like, okay, like it'll be crowdfunding, and like, you know, like this project has like, you know, only a handful, like only a few $1 million, which isn't that huge in the grand scheme of things, but you can still get really classic games out of it, you know, like I don't know, like Axiom Verge,
I think
like
the only
Undertale.
problem is that like people are really bad at evaluating how capable a team is of bringing like the project that they're pitching to light.
Oh yeah, it's a huge risk, and you got to have a pretty good pedigree, you know. And I mean, even then, sometimes that pedigree doesn't even help all that much. I mean, like we're seeing that happen kind of now with No Man's Sky. Like a lot of those guys, like they're very talented. Don't get me wrong, they're really good at what they do. But like they have a pretty good pedigree. Like they worked on like Burnout and stuff. They were at EA, and they spun off and did their own thing. And I mean, like, you know, what came out of that was not what was advertised. You know what I mean? So. So people kind of get like their hopes up with things that they're not too sure about, I feel like, you know, or that they shouldn't be too sure about, I should say.
I sort of wish that I could be like that hipster that says, oh yeah, I never really had really high hopes for No Man's Sky.
Yeah, and I mean, like whenever
it feels
something
sort of douchey to say, but it's like
it totally does. Like whenever a big game like this comes out and doesn't meet expectations, there's always going to be people that come out of the woodwork and be like, "Well, I knew it was gonna fail this whole entire time." And I'm like, "All right, cool,
I always
dude."
was sort of ambivalent about the game. Like I never really understood why people like fawned over it so much.
Well, I think people got a lot of their hopes up because you look at those early trailers and it was very impressive in what they were showing, and what they were saying, what they were implicating.
It's
you know?
like to me, it smelt a little bit fishy. Like it felt
did.
like
it absolutely did.
Watching the Rainbow Six Siege trailer from E3, the one that was like super scripted, and it's like, oh man, we're getting no information. I have really low hopes for this.
Well, a lot of trailers at E3 in general, like, just don't give that much gameplay anymore. It's just like, you know, like you look at that new God of War trailer, you know, like everyone was freaking out over that. And I'm like, all right, well, how much of that was actually game and how much of that was just a cutscene? You know what I mean? Like
I mean, it's like the new Hideo Kojima like trailer. Which,
that was just straight up just a CGI
like,
trailer.
It was great. I mean, it's a great piece of marketing material.
It is, but does he even have like a game yet? Like last time, like we were hearing out of Kojima Productions. Well, not Kojima, but what the fuck is it called? What's his new team called again? Oh my god, what is their name? I forget. Well, anyways, whatever. What I was hearing out of Kojima a few months before that trailer was that like, oh yeah, like we're still shopping around for game engines, you know? And I'm like, okay, that means that they have nothing done yet. Which is fine. Like he just left Konami the end of last year, so give the man some time. I'm just surprised they showed a trailer like that so early.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's probably just like they're like just putting together the base concept for the game, if there is one. Yeah,
and I guess they just wanted everyone to know, like, hey, remember Norman Reedus? Yeah, we're bringing him back. Like he's in, you know. So whatever. Anyways, this has gone pretty off track, but yeah, that was like pretty much my week. Lots of Metroidvania games. I highly recommend Metroid Prime, the whole trilogy. 1, 2, and 3 are really awesome. 2 is my favorite. 1 is a close second. 3 is pretty good, I guess. But whatever. And then Axiom Verge as well is also really solid if you're looking for a Metroidvania game, an exploration-based like shooter, like side-scrolling shooter. It's so good. The music is so good. I love these fucking games. God damn it. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it from my end.
Well, for me, it's mostly been like moving into new apartments, so that's been most of my week. Aside from that, it's just like I found this new series, I found this like new manga called like, what was it? Like the private report on my lesbian experience with loneliness.
Oh, okay.
It's like an autobiographical series, like by this one female mangaka, and it really hits super close to home. It's about
So it's a manga then.
oh yeah, it's
Okay.
about like this one woman's like experience with that like loneliness and depression that happens like around like when you sort of go on from high school into like the wider world and you don't really know what to do with yourself.
Huh.
And it's like it reminds me a lot of like a whole bunch of different autobiographical series that I've seen recently. For as far as manga goes, it's like there are a few that I can name off the top of my head. Like there's one called Onani Master Kurosawa, which translates into like Masturbation Master Kurosawa, which is like, despite its name, it's really really good. And then there's like one called Molester Man, which is like based on like a 2chan board like forum post about like this one guy who gets mistaken for a molester and like his experiences.
Well, where do you find all this stuff? Like you have some, huh?
I just like trawl through like sort of what's popular on like certain manga sites, and sometimes like really obscure stuff comes up and I go, wow, this looks interesting.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like you always find this real obscure stuff. You know, it all sounds interesting. I just don't know where I'd find it. Okay, cool.
It's like there's this one manga site run primarily for like scanlators called Batoto.
Okay.
Where it's like scanlators are the fan translators who like take scans of Japanese manga, clean it up, and like typeset it with like English words or whatever language you're translating it to. And like generally they exist in this like gray zone of sort of it is sort of piracy but sort of not, and it's like it's not necessarily legal but it happens anyway. And generally they'll go, so if we get a cease and desist, we'll take down the series and like we'll like try to make sure like all the manga aggregator sites take them down. Batoto is one of these aggregator sites. A lot of these are run by like Chinese corporations though, so they don't care and they just keep the chapters up anyways. But Batoto runs according to like what the scanlators individually wish for, so they will take down the series if they say that they've gotten its cease and desist, or they just want the site to take it down at all.
Okay.
So you'll get like a whole bunch of like different like groups there, and sometimes if you like go in to see like a certain translation group that you have seen that's done a series you liked, and like look through like the constellations of series that they have translated, you'll eventually start to find like really obscure stuff, and that's generally how I find mine.
Okay. Cool.
Like there's this one guy called like Boon Translations, and he was like one of the original scanlators for the like One Punch Man series. So that was like
back when like it was just a webcomic, you mean?
I think he first started doing the like actual serialized stuff done by like Murata Yusuke.
Okay.
And then like he has like this whole like plethora of like really obscure stuff on the side too.
Okay.
But yeah, this series that I was talking about, it goes really dark places, and I am really excited to see how like what comes next, because it seems like it's only 5 or so chapters, and like so far 2 chapters have released. I totally recommend checking it out if you guys ever have the time.
Okay.
It feels like super universal, like anyone anywhere can probably read it and sort of get what this woman's going through.
Interesting. Okay. Definitely check it out.
But yeah, other than that, it's like, you know, Overwatch, a little bit of other gaming here and there.
Wait, Josh, where do you play Overwatch?
I play on PC, so unfortunately
nice.
I cannot join Mitchell on his streams.
Nah, dude, we'll just have fun without him, dude. PC Master Race. Especially even here, like.
No, I'm here. I shut the fuck up when Josh talks because I'm like, all right,
Time to
take
listen
one of
to
the
him
earbuds
ramble about
out.
something like super anime hipster.
We've had this conversation 1,000 times, so like I'm not gonna contribute to this because you know my opinions on every single one of these things. So,
you've been like quiet for the past like 15 minutes, and I'm just like, maybe he died. I don't know what's gonna happen.
well, that's the end of the podcast.
There is no more podcast.
It'll just be me and Josh like talking for like 3 hours, and like I wonder when.
We'll just like close up this document.
When will the audio stop? All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. Justice reigns from. No, Josh, you know how I feel about that stuff. Honestly, here's the counter argument. I think Josh is a hipster in every goddamn sense of the word, and the stuff that he describes, while interesting, is not my cup of tea. I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're into it, go ahead, but it's not for me. It's for someone. It's just not for me. And Josh and I have had the same conversation about every time he recommends me something for the last 8 years. So I'm pretty sure.
You should see my success rate.
To be fair, Josh is also like you've told me that Josh has recommended to you stuff like ReZero, which is like the exact opposite of anime hipster. So
I will
at least he has a wide.
But I would say I'm close to being hipster, not in the sense that it's like an identity, but like. I have hipster tendencies. I don't like to be liking stuff just because it's popular.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. I don't ever get the stigma of like being like a hipster about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you like what you like, and if it's popular, it's popular.
About being a hipster, it's like if it's an identity, then you're not really a hipster.
All right, moving on. Moving fucking on. No one on.
All right, into the meat of the podcast. 47 minutes.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Fucking fuck, guys.
Let's just sweep our weeks under the rug. It's all good. Anyways.
We're 47 minutes into the cast.
Oh, Jesus. Whatever. It's fine.
Whatever. Fuck you guys. All
right, Mitch. What's up? What's next on the plate?
Well, we can't talk about Stranger Things.
No. I'll just like... crouch in the corner.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's good. Just know that it's good. You should watch it. Josh, you should watch it. People who are listening, you should also watch it. It's really good.
It's a fantastic series without giving too much away.
Wait. I totally forgot. I watched Bakano while I had some spare time.
You watched Bakano?
Oh, shit. Seriously?
For the first time?
Yeah. It's like I'd been putting it off for like years.
What'd you think?
I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't get through it. So
really?
Did you watch it like in Japanese?
I watched it dubbed.
I watched it dubbed. I feel like the reason I couldn't get through it was because I was trying to marathon it and I didn't space them out.
Yeah, I watched like 2 episodes a week with friends. That was, back when I was like had college friends nearby and willing to watch anime. So that was like part of like our anime nights.
I thought you were gonna say that's back when I had friends.
Well, that too.
Jesus Christ.
But we would watch Bakano, and then what was the other? We were watching Bakano and Tiger and Bunny at the same time. We would do
those are 2 very different shows.
Yeah, that's the idea. We would pick 2 very different shows. So if you weren't feeling one, you would probably like the other.
Is Overwatch just American Tiger and Bunny?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
That feels like I have to watch this series now.
The guys at Blizzard watched Tiger and Bunny, and they're like, "We need to make a game about this."
Yeah, no, you know what's weird?
Fucking Project Titan.
What's his
we
name?
don't need Project Titan.
I think it was Ron Howard who said he wanted to make a Tiger and Bunny movie. I'm sorry, but Josh, you said you were watching Bakano. You finished it, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like I didn't have internet for like a week, also, so that's what I watched.
Oh, what? Because you had it on your super legal way.
Oh, of course.
So tell me then, what was the verdict for you? I think I got to episode 9. So what was the verdict?
Really? You quit at episode 9?
I had other things. I watched.
You're 4 episodes away from the finish line, dude.
I watched. I ended up watching. I think at the time I got into Gangsta instead for a little bit.
Oh man.
And then Gangsta got stale.
Like an odd series to drop Bakano for.
No, because then get this. Because then I got to episode 9 and Gangsta and dropped that.
Episode 9 is like your cursed episode. You're just like. I think I'm good.
I think it's just because it's like there's not like, I don't know, with Baccano it was like there was so much information that was going on. I was trying to marathon it at the time and I realized I don't think I can do it. It's not that it's not interesting, I just didn't have the time, especially because I have to constantly work on the channel. Not to throw the channel under the bus, but it's a lot of work.
No, I get it.
So
this is really recent then if you're dropping it for Gangsta.
Yeah, and then I was watching Gangsta. I was, okay, to give you some context, maybe it'll still help with the timeline. I was watching Gangsta as it was airing.
Yeah.
So, last fall.
Yeah. Wow, that's really, okay. So I watched Baccano like 2 years ago.
The biggest complaint that I heard about Gangsta was like it's incredibly sexist, and
I don't know if that's necessarily a good complaint to lodge against Gangsta.
I mean, I'm not saying that was my complaint. I'm just saying that was a general complaint with the series. Like, after I dropped it, that was something that kept getting brought up whenever I would mention that I was watching Gangsta. I will admit that, like, I guess I can see where people are coming from, but to be honest with you, by the time I dropped it, by episode 9, there was a character, I don't know. The main argument is normally for one of the main characters who's like a prostitute. And that was a lot of where that argument was coming from. And also just some other some minor characters that were showing up in the first 3 episodes. But as time went on, I didn't see the problem prevail as much. I just saw it more as maybe, I don't know. It wasn't interesting enough to keep my attention though, so then I dropped it. So
yeah, it got sort of boring.
It got really boring after episode like 4 or 5.
The reason why you start watching it is because you want to see like these 2 badass main characters interact, and then you hit like this backstory arc, and then I just dropped it like like a rock.
It felt oddly rushed, but also Baccano. So Baccano though, did you enjoy it? Was it good?
I would have to say yeah. It's like I really like what the like Durara Baccano like 91 Days team is doing. Like they've got their own style and it is working really well for them.
Yeah, definitely. They have their own style.
Is Baccano only like 12 or 13 episodes?
Yeah, it's 13 episodes.
It's 13 episodes, I believe. Yeah.
Holy shit, maybe I should just finish it.
Yeah, like you were that close, dude. It's really good.
Oh, motherfucker.
I'm just surprised that like you didn't finish it because you really like Durara, right?
Oh, I love Durara. Well, I can't say that anymore.
Oh.
Why not?
I used to really love Durara. I thought the first season was fantastic. Or not even the first season. I thought the first
like 10 13 episodes.
I was about to say 9 just to spite myself. The first half of the season was really great, but then I had the problem when I recommended it to a friend and we started watching it. What the problems were after that, and then getting into the next season and some of the things feeling rushed and like. There's this definite feeling of like, okay, I may need to watch the first season again just to make sure that I have all the information down.
Season 2, which is really weird to think there's like a season 2-1 and then season 2-3, which is like third season of Durara. First season of season 2 is really, I don't know, I would say odd or like low quality.
The weird thing is like when you look at that first season, I always thought that like, oh, Durara, like it's this like when the first time, because I remember when you were trying to show it to me originally, I was having none of it, and then I eventually just picked it up on my own, and there was this moment of like, oh, this is kind of interesting, like, you know, you're following all these different characters, that there's a lot going on, it's really fun, but then there's like, I don't know, like the first episode of the new season just felt like it's great to come back here. But
well, it feels a lot like, have you've seen the OVA episode, right? The
yes.
episode like 25 or 26.5 or something.
Yeah.
And we always, I think we talked about it, and like we said something like it sort of feels like it's just like the money that's left over from like the end of the season, they just like toss into that.
Yeah, the super real thing where it's like, wow, I think this was the budget that was used to make Luluco. Like, I feel like it feels something along those lines. Not saying that Luluco was bad. Luluco is great in its own weird way, but it's weird because I was really, really, really into Durara, and then
like it feels like
the second season starts, and I'm just not there
at production level for like the beginning of that season.
It's not even the animation, I feel. I feel like it's I know that it's following the novels and stuff. I feel like what it was that there's just too much of a gap in time for me. So like I feel like if I was marathoning all of it, I would have had a better sense of like momentum with it. But like it's I know that there's people I had friends at that time who were really excited that it was coming back, and they loved all the characters, and it almost never left their lives. So when I went into it, it was like, oh, it left my life. it very blatantly left at some point in my life.
Yeah.
And
I feel the same.
Like what was that? 2015. So like I must have watched Durara in 2011. So it's been about 4 years for me, and while it was great to kind of see the characters again, you know what it is. I grew up a little, and I feel, and it's this problem that I've been having with anime for a while, where I'm not saying that you can get too old for anime, but I feel like what it is for me.
I mean,
at
certain
least,
series hit you at the right time.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. There's certain series like Vampire Knight. I would never, in a million years, watch Vampire Knight. If I didn't watch it at that time.
It's like how FLCL, like it's sort of.
Oh my god, exactly.
Yeah, it's like how I wasn't 12 when I watched Sword Art Online, so I didn't like it. No, I'm just kidding.
You mean 14?
No, we had our own. We had our own Sword Art called Dot Hack.
Yeah, that's right.
That was our thing.
Wait, hold on. So rewind a little bit. Are you guys shitting on FLCL right now?
No,
no.
FLCL is probably the most effective. Like Mitchell and I had this one English teacher who told us to watch or read Catcher in the Rye like 3 times in our lives.
Sure. FLCL is like anime Catcher in the Rye.
Pretty much. And it's like, you
like,
watch it.
Really it is.
Like when you're like in like that like weird stage of like your youth where like you're experiencing those things.
Right. You're going through puberty and you don't understand.
You watch it
and you're just kind of jaded,
like college
almost.
or like when you're on the cusp of adulthood. And then you watch it once more when you reach adulthood. And it's like you have all this perspective.
It really is one of those. I fucking love Fooly Cooly because of that. Like it's like you said, like you could watch it so many times over and you learn new things about it from a different perspective.
But it's like it has different impacts depending on what time in your life you watch it.
Yeah, I feel like it's unfortunate because Mitch, you actually showed me Fooly Cooly when we were in college, so I kind of missed out on the whole watching it from the puberty aspect. I was already looking back at all the nostalgia, like I remember when I felt that way,
Like you know what? No, I feel like there's like a certain level where it's like It's absolutely like Fooly Cooly. That's the perfect way of describing it. But like I'm sorry for interrupting. It's just it reminded me of a news story that was like that was a while back that they were trying to work on a second season of Fooly Cooly.
Yep, they're in the second season.
And I remember thinking to myself, the whole magic of that miniature 6-episode series was the fact that like it's perfect as its own self-contained little hobgoblin of a story.
Yeah, I don't want any more of it.
Yeah, it's like the plot of the series is not what matters. It's like the atmosphere it evokes.
Like that's the biggest thing with it, but
and then you know what, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. Like that's every time like the second season's brought up, they're like, why though? This is pretty much like the overall kind of vibe I get from a lot of people.
Well, that would be like someone being like, we need a fucking second season of Gurren Lagann, and I'd be like, no, the whole point of Gurren Lagann is supposed to be.
What I wish we had a second season of that we never got? Panty and Stocking.
What? That is a very different thing.
Damn it, why'd you have to make me sad?
Because I feel like in its own weird way, Panty and Stocking is one of those series where I'm really glad that we're talking about all these things real quick, or all these series right now, because that's the perfect way to transition into this news story, and then we can go back and go back into anime. I'm sorry to derail this a little.
I watched Durara back in 2009-ish, not too long after it had come out, and it was probably the perfect time for me. I was still in high school. I was just right in the middle of it, and it's I associate myself so much with Mikado, and it's oh man. And then seeing the second season come out, it's I remember that.
Okay.
Admittedly, living in LA for the time that I did was that actual experience for me.
I will say, going to Ikebukuro after watching it was fucking awesome. Just because, the background art, that's a thing. Those places are real. I'm happy about it. Anyways,
okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so we all watched Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, fuck, dude. Oh.
So, the news story that goes with this was the fact that in the latest episode of Steven Universe this last week, which I thought was a fantastic episode.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh my god, it really, I love the song, the atmosphere, the whole dynamics and everything. But it's important to note that a guest animation studio was used for some of those sequences. It was Studio Trigger.
Oh, really?
Really? What?
So this is a bit. I wish I was this was some sort of elaborate April Fool's joke, but we live in a world where this was a thing, and I was I have to bring this up on the podcast.
That's amazing. What? So do they animate the song then?
From my understanding, it was the butterfly sequences.
Yeah.
And if you look at those sequences, because I had that knowledge going into it, so watching those sequences and looking at the way that it's animated, it was oh my god, this is Kill la Kill. This is Luluko.
If you look really closely, you can see Ryuko Matoi in the butterfly.
If you look really closely, you can see Luluko
if you look at Stevani, she's wearing
into Steven Universe.
I'm surprised you guys didn't pick up the fact that they were playing "Don't Lose Your Way."
Oh, if you rewind the song, it's "Don't Lose Your Way," right?
You reverse the track.
So I it was so real. So it got so far that on Tumblr, there's all these pictures of Stevani looking like Ryuko, or just everyone's celebrating this because it's this is the episode itself is fantastic,
really good.
And I kind of want to get into that a little bit more, but the animation in Steven Universe is already so amazing and grand. The fact that they got fucking Studio Trigger, a studio that all three of us really respect and love, it's a fucking huge deal. I still need to finish Kiss Knifer.
Dude, finish it. How far did you watch any more since I showed you the first two episodes?
I watched the second episode and then I got busy with editing.
Yeah,
and
that's
forgot
fine.
To.
I will say favorite anime last season.
Really?
I don't think that's a too popular. Yes, I would say I wouldn't call it the best anime, but it was my favorite. If that makes sense.
I can respect that.
I really want to check it out because it's definitely one of those series that it was really different, and I want to know what it is exactly that makes it fun. But the point is that Steven Universe had our mutual. All three of us can agree on one thing, and that is Studio Trigger is fucking amazing.
Yes.
The Platinum Studios of anime,
the Platinum Games of anime.
Yes, the Platinum.
So Platinum Games are saving video games, and Studio Trigger is saving anime. Is that the idea?
I like to imagine, yes. It is. It's one of those things where it's I can't believe it that's the world we live in. But
Rebecca Sugar is saving Cartoon Network.
Let's talk about the episode a bit. I believe I cannot remember what the actual name of the episode is. Mindful Education. So this episode was different in a lot of ways. I really enjoyed the fact that it opens up and Steven has a bald cap on, and everyone just edited that image to make it look like Sans from Undertale.
Oh, Jesus. Of course.
Steven is Sans, I see.
The episode in itself is really just fun. It talks about relationships. It talks about being okay with yourself and depression, anxiety, that sort of thing. And it's definitely one of those episodes where it's like I constantly see posts on Tumblr where it's like, hey, even if you don't like Steven Universe, just watch this little clip. Just do it.
Yes.
Just watch this little clip, because trust me, it might make you feel better or give you a better sense of understanding.
This is going to be one of those episodes where, even though it's super kind of spoilery heavy, I'm going to keep it in my back pocket, and like, if somebody asks me like, hey, like, why do you like Steven Universe so much? Like, I'm going to be using this episode as an example, honestly.
I'm good. I'm waiting for the chords to come up on fucking Ultimate Guitar so I can just be like, all right, time to learn the song before the con.
Belt it on ukulele, yeah, do it.
Oh, hell yeah. I just wanted... Josh, I don't mean to steamroll over your opinion real quick, because I know that you probably want to say something about it, but... can I just say, I marked the fuck out when Stefani's falling through those clouds, or like is facing all of Steven's personal demons, and fucking Rose shows up.
Yep.
Oh my, that gave me goosebumps. Like, holy shit. Like, it's something that we constantly talk about, like, all the time, is Steven's relationship with Rose. And like, that was just so good. It's so
I mean,
good.
it's like the first time he's really dealt with like all the sort of crappy stuff that he's had to go through.
Well, I guess in the real way he's been dealing with it all this time. It's just the first time that he's finally
brought
let
up
it out.
To like the surface.
Yes, exactly. God damn. It's the thing I love about the show is that they don't just sweep anything under the rug, you know, like in any, like in another, like other episodic shows, like, you know, something big will happen and they'll just kind of forget about it. It's like, whatever. But like, Steven's been through some shit, and they address the consequences of that, like on the consequences on like what these kind of events would have on a 14-year-old psyche, and it's really awesome. Like, my friend's been joking around with me that like I only like the show just to watch people suffer, but I really do like that. It just gives a whole weight to all of the circumstances that Steven's in. You know, it gives the show kind of a sense of place and a sense of life almost, you know, the fact that these characters can struggle the way that they, you know, and it's not just all honky-dory, happy-go-lucky all the time.
The show has like a really good respect for like the emotional like conservation of momentum, I guess.
Yes.
Like, the emotion just doesn't like stop once the episode ends. It just continues, and like it has impact.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Definitely.
I think that ultimately, like, I just, the visuals of the episode were just really there for me this time around.
Yeah.
I'll have to like rewatch it and like pay attention.
Oh, dude, seriously, I had to rewatch it again just for that. But like, just to add a little bit to what Sora was saying a bit was, it seems like as the further we get into this, like the episodes, like the amount of episodes that are like very like almost like Crazy Noisy Bizarre Town are starting to lower, and now we're heading into I Will Chase You.
Oh my god.
I'm trying to transition into the next subject material.
So, wow, yeah, you're right. Those are solid JoJo's references, Mitchell. Do you want to talk about JoJo now?
It's almost as if I'm trying to shittily move on.
Man. Great JoJo. Now is your JoJo time.
That was my stand. Not subtle.
Wow. It is really interesting. Like, I have this like one site that I go to like look at like small clips of animation and like the attributions for like the people who animated it, and it is actually really telling how like smooth these animations for this episode of Steven are.
Yeah, I have to rewind, I have to go back and rewatch it again, especially now that I know that Triggered had animated the song sequence. So I'm down.
You guys, just for the fans, real quick, if you guys, the ultimate verdict for the episode is it's amazing, and the truth of the matter is I feel like the reason why at least I'm not saying too much about what actually happens in the episode is because I feel like it's one of those things, it's one of those episodes where it's better to experience it than for us to just talk about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on visually and a lot going on like on a completely different level than what we normally talk about on the channel.
So it seems like the guy who did a lot of the key animation for this episode of Steven also did a lot of like the key animation in like a little bit in Kill la Kill and then a lot in Space Patrol Lulico.
Oh,
I can totally see that, like the way that specifically with the way that the butterflies.
Let's see, what else has he done?
And
Seems like the second season or second episode of Little Witch Academia, some Samurai Champloo, and
Little Witch Academia.
Redline.
You know what I need to do right now? I need to get my stand. Diamond is unbreakable. Crazy fucking diamond and restructure myself because Josh, I'm trying to move on to the next one. I really appreciate you looking.
This is his third attempt of a transition now.
But like, yeah, this is like Josh, I was gonna wait till after the podcast to say it, but I'll just say it now. It's really hard to transition with you on the show.
I am aware. Sorry.
I know. I appreciate you being on. Thanks for being another amazing guest on the channel. So let's talk about JoJo.
Yeah, JoJo's. It's been. I'm pumped to talk about this because it's been a while since we talked about it in depth, at least.
This is actually probably the only time we'll be able to talk. Well, anytime Gangmudo's not here because she hasn't caught up with it.
Right. Okay.
It's probably the good way of doing it because she's really behind on it. So
yeah. Well, when's the last time we talked about this? Like.
Let me remember. We were talking about the man who was turned into stone.
Oh Christ! So like literally like the first episode.
I'm more
Second
than certain
episode.
the last time we talked about this, we had a Velvet Talk 4, and that was like months ago.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, here we are now.
So to give everyone some context here on the JoJo talk, I've read all of JoJo's because I'm insane. Sora and Josh are currently watching the current anime. But now I gotta ask, do any of you guys know spoilers for upcoming stuff?
Nope.
No, I do not.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to back down a bit on some of my knowledge on the show. Let's do a small recap then from that episode. Between episodes 3 and I guess 13 or 14. Josuke Higashikata and his new crazy, noisy, bizarre friends go on amazing, weird adventures, and every time they beat a stand user, they just end up hanging out with them and they're close buds now.
Or they die.
So I feel like that's an extreme. There was a stand user that they had to fight named his stand was Red Hot Chili Pepper. The guy's name was Akira.
Chili Pepper. Sorry.
And Red Hot Chili Pepper. Anyways,
yeah.
So they had to fight him. Joseph's now in the show now. Old Man Joseph. Old Man Joseph finds a baby, and it's invisible, and he has to take care of
baby.
it.
It's the work of an enemy stand. The baby stand.
The baby stand. I feel like you just look at there's that image of Kakoin who carved in his arm baby stand. Like there's just that image running around.
Yeah.
And now we're at a certain part where the crazy, noisy, bizarre town adventures are starting to become a little darker and grimmer as we were introduced to the main villain of part 4.
Kira.
Death Note's Kira, whose stand Death Note
Light Yagami with the stand Diawi. I don't know.
With his stand Breaking a Benjamin.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So let's
It
talk.
would definitely be the if he had a Breaking Benjamin stand, it would definitely be called the Diary of Jane, for sure.
God damn it! Don't fear the Reaper.
Okay.
So anyways, we're finally here. The best thing about this cast is that as of the last episode, we're finally here. I've been waiting for him to show up the whole time because Kira, Yoshikage Kira, is one of Hirohiko Araki's favorite characters. He's one of my favorite characters. His stand power is really amazing. I hate the way they've drawn him in the anime.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people not liking the way Killer Queen looks like in the anime. I think he looks cool. I like the way he looks. I don't know. I mean, I've been seeing manga panels of him and stuff.
I feel like a big part of it is because his ears are normally sharper. Like he has a sharper, like almost symmetrical appearance. He just looks, I don't know, like that's normal. That's the way I always assumed he'd look. And in this, he almost looks like a rotten version of Frieza. And that's the only real way I can really describe it. Not to say that like I understand why they do these sort of things, because obviously there's certain things where it's like the character, like especially in part 3, they did this a lot where it's like the stands would look a little weird. Dio would look a little weird in some frames. And I understood why. Yeah,
well, it was animation. It was just like time constraints and stuff. Like, yeah, there is actually even in the episode where we first see Killer Queen, like that final shot where he's fighting Shigechi, and there's like his face, both Killer Queen and Kira's face look kind of frumpy, like not good. They had the same exact shot in the next episode, and they already touched it up. So like I'm sure in the Blu-ray releases, like it'll look better. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things like where
let's fix this for the Blu-ray.
Right, like they had to cut some corners.
This right fucking now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say real quick, like this is to me where part 4 starts.
Okay.
This is like, some things we missed on the recap was Rohan Kishibe is a person now, and and ghosts are real.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. I wish that there was a video clip that was literally just Jotaro being like, ghosts, that's stupid. Ghosts aren't real. Now let me summon my stand. God damn it. I love any time the reference is made where it's like, no, magic can't exist. That doesn't make sense, says Jotaro. Man who summons Star Platinum and can stop time. God. Anyways, so as viewers of the anime, what do you guys, how have you guys been feeling about part 4?
So I am happy that we're finally quote unquote there, as you say, that now shit is starting to actually get real.
I find it really hard to mourn for Shigechi for some reason.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't.
What, you guys are having problems mourning with Rob Schneider? What? Why?
Well,
what's wrong with Rob Schneider?
I don't want to criticize Araki for killing off a character so quickly, because I think that's actually kind of refreshing in a way. Like it, because I had enough of an attachment to Shigechi where I felt like, oh man, like this is kind of a big deal for the characters, not so much like, oh, I'm so sad that Shigechi's gone. Like, but I can get why Josuke and Okuyasu are really, kind of bent up about it. Like that's cool and that's believable.
He had the decency to like give Shigechi like his own arc before killing him off, which that's a lot better than most series can say.
For sure. And I like, and somebody touched on this a while ago, where I like the way Araki deals with death, in that like Shigechi didn't die in Josuke's arms or whatever, like in a lot of shows, like, like if a principal character dies, like they'll like die in front of like the main cast, and like they'll have time to say their goodbyes before they like pass away in their arms and stuff like that. And it's just not realistic like that. So like this happened, the way that like Caesar died in part 2 and the way that like, Shigechi died in part 4, like they just kind of died, and the main characters just kind of had to find out.
We probably should have opened this up with, guys, there's going to be spoilers.
I sorry, whatever.
I had the realization of, oh shit.
Well, I mean, we're talking about part 4. I don't get people that, part 7 is an exception, but I don't get people that watch parts like 2, 3, like out of order, whatever. Like 7 is an exception because of the reasons that are also spoilery. But
yeah, I can't talk about my favorite part of JoJo.
Yeah. But whatever. I'm sorry. I'm talking assuming you've watched all the manga or all the anime up until this point, and that includes parts 1, 2, and 3.
Right. Wait, what do you mean Jonathan dies?
Yeah. Right. So
how does that happen?
But yeah, I like how Araki deals with death in that kind of sense. Like
it's sudden.
It's sudden, but it feels like it's real almost, and it sucks. Like I had like a moment of like just like I kind of like shivered a little bit when Kira showed up in the reflection of the door, and I'm like, oh fuck, Shigechi's done. Like, oh shit.
No hope.
I really enjoyed how they capture exactly how dangerous Kira is.
Yeah, he reminds me. He feels like American Psycho when I'm watching him. You know what I mean?
He is so calm about it.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why I really just enjoyed. He's a man who is simply trying to live his incredibly what he considers ordinary and regular ass life.
A quiet life.
He's his super quiet, relaxed life.
All he wants is a quiet life. Yeah.
And unfortunately, that also involves him murdering people.
Yeah. But in a way, I think it's a great contrast to Dio. You know, like I mean, I think with this series, I feel like Araki would have had a huge problem trying to follow up with a villain like Dio, who's so over the top, so flamboyant, so iconic. You know, but Dio is like he's very open in his aspirations. Like he wants to be a god, he wants to rule the world, pretty much. Like he knows that he's above everyone else, whereas like Kira's kind of mild mannered and he just wants to do what makes him happy and doesn't, you know, like he's obviously evil and shit, but like he's very quiet and reserved about it, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's kind of what makes him so creepy.
Like I think that's I feel like a certain level of relatability is also what makes Kira kind of an interesting villain, because deep down that's kind of what we all want, is that like kind of like a relaxed kind of life. Mm-hmm. A simple sense of comfort, I guess, is a good way of putting it. And when I first read it, I felt like at the time that's kind of what I was like, oh man, that does sound really nice. Oh, he's also a murderer. I could probably do without.
I mean,
that.
He's like, you know, like he's basically the opposite of Dio. He has zero ambition for anything except for what he's already got.
But I just love the idea of his character. He's so smart and so calculating. Like don't get me wrong, Dio is very smart in his own way, but like I feel like this is like genius levels. Dio's smart in a manipulative way. Kira is manipulative in a completely different level. If that makes any sense at all. Like, it's like someone who's really good at art and someone who's really good at math, I feel.
Sure.
They're both very smart people, just in very different ways.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of the things that I'm really looking forward to seeing as time goes on is how people will respond to Kira, because he definitely goes through some interesting stuff that makes him one of the best villains. And the more I watch part 4, the more I realize I don't know how people are gonna like part 5. I've come to that point where it's like, yeah, we got to Kira. It's hard to go from. Well, that's the thing, right? Because part 4 is like Kira is Araki's favorite part. I mean, as far as I can tell, it seems like that, because all his favorite characters come from fucking part 4. And then there's part 5, which the community has kind of like a mixed review on, and then there's part 6, which is even more mixed at times. And then the part I love the most is probably the part that a lot of people either love or hate, and then part 8 is weird. It's bizarre almost.
I've heard a lot of people come out and say that part 7 is really, really like is their favorite. Not their favorite, but like they think is the best, you know?
I've met a lot of people who really love part 7, but I've also heard people accuse people who love there's a lot of people who just read part 7.
Okay.
Because they hear that that's the best part and they want to read that, and there's the certain level of like I can't remember what the exact term was, but like when I went to a cons and stuff, I'd see people. You see more Johnnies and Gyros than you see like Josephs. Like that's what I saw this year, at least at ColossalCon. Like there was a small meetup for Johnnies and Gyros specifically, and that was probably like I was internally freaking out, but I did feel bad for the other JoJos. And I mean, I guess it's at this point it's going to be interesting, because the transition between part 3 and part 4 is very different. going on a road trip across the world to Egypt, and then switching to Crazy Noisy Bizarre Town is very just different. It's a completely different show, in a lot of respects. And I know some people who are losing interest because of how different it is.
I mean, I feel like that's going to be something that's just going to keep on happening with JoJo's, because from what I hear, it's like every part of JoJo's is very different from the last part.
Oh, you mean that exact thing that I always say, where it's like literally every part of JoJo is almost like a different genre of something?
Yeah, well, that's what's so cool about it, is that it's what's cool about JoJo's is that it feels like we're watching a writer grow and change himself as he changes his series. Like Araki transforms his writing style and art style, like it feels like each time with every new part, and it's really cool to see.
I love how and something that you're gonna really, if that's what you really enjoy, you're gonna love how part 6 goes. I feel, because there's a lot there's certain things that he does in part 6 that I think are really fantastic. And then obviously part 7 being the giant accumulation of everything he learned, because I think that went on for like 9 years or something.
Part 7?
Yeah, part 7 went on for like some ridiculous amount of time.
Damn.
And then right now we're in the born identity of JoJo with part 8. So
do we know like how far through part 8 is? Like, do we know like, okay, like it's about halfway done, or it's almost done, or it's not even close, or what?
It's so weird. With part 7, at least you had like a journey objective, so you were like, oh, we're this far ahead.
Sure.
With part 8, it's kind of back to, I almost want to say part 4, just because it also takes place in Morio and stuff like that. But like it almost feels, it's very hard to determine exactly how far we are, because there's no like, it almost feels like there's no end game. And I honestly don't know. I do know that it's been rumored that part 9 is something that's in the works. Like, he has planned this out to part 9. If that's the case, I do not know how we're going to move forward. Because this is a very odd series to be in. But it's not like he didn't write in the future. I think back in 93 or 94, he was writing part 4, and he was writing about stuff that happens in 99.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised if Araki would do part 9, but like, there's also a big thing that's kind of weird about part 8 right now, which is, I don't know if this is spoilers or not, but I'll just say this. Every part of JoJo has some sort of relation to Dio. The original conflict, obviously being the Jonathan-Dio conflict, is represented in some way, shape, or form through each part of JoJo. The first, I could say the first couple, Jonathan and Dio being part 1, the Pillar Men, the thing that gave Dio his power, essentially, the Stone Mask being explained again, and another Joestar. And then in part 3, it was Jotaro Kujo versus Dio. And then in part 4, we're seeing the aftermath of that fight. So, you have the arrow and stuff. And Josuke Higashikata, and almost the concept of legacy, if you will, and what the Joestar and what Dio left behind. So it's a very interesting way to look at things. And then part 5, 6, 7 also have similar things that are kind of brought up, and that's one of the cool things about JoJo is the idea of legacy. With part 8. We found out what the Joestar connection is. We have the Joestar connection.
Okay.
We don't have the Dio connection, because by all accounts and purposes, we just don't know. Like, it's one of those weird things where it's like anything could happen, but there's some really good theories out there. I really, really love some of those theories and how they try to make the connections, because it's so good. It's so good, and I can't wait for the next, because there's something that happened in part 8 recently that made me freak the fuck out. And I can't say it here on the cast, obviously, without giving too much away, but it's crazy. It's almost crazy, noisy, bizarre, if you will. Also, can we
Jesus.
talk about the new opening and how awesome that is?
Yeah, it's really grown on me a little bit. When I first heard the second opening, I was kind of confused
I
because
had no idea what to think about it aside from it being like really cool.
Yeah, it was cool, but like it felt way more standard shonen-y to me than I expected. You know, I
sort of got Psycho-Pass vibes from it actually.
Yeah, I got some Psycho-Pass vibes to it for sure. It almost felt like a Bleach opening to me a little bit.
Watch, it's actually called Asterisk, and it's just.
Oh my gosh, I actually really like that opening. I will say I like that
say
song.
What you might about Bleach.
On a complete side
Bleach
note,
has some good openings.
Complete side note, it's over. It's over now.
Oh shit!
I'm happy for you that it's over. Happy.
The devil was killed that day.
Suna can rest in peace now. It's over.
You know the problem. Oh my god. You know the problem is Gang Mudo's like, Mitchell, we have to go see Kubo and the Two Strings, and I'm like, you know how I'm gonna make that? I'm just gonna ruin that movie, right? It's gonna be the story of how Tai Kubo was inspired to write manga, and the whole movie ends with, wow, this would make a cool story, and then he writes Bleach.
Oh my god.
Anyways, the point is, on a complete, like I said, on a completely different note, Bleach ended. I ended up reading it. I had to know.
Dude, Christ, man, like that's not healthy.
I had
should
to
have made
know.
a clean break.
Yeah, man.
No.
It's like seeing an ex again. You know, it's just not a good idea.
Hang on. I needed closure. That's what it was.
Okay.
I needed to know what this series that was so bad for me, that had other series had died so that this series could live.
Oh no! You're not going to let go of that one, are you?
Josh, me and you lived that. We used to be so into reading the Weekly Shonen Jump stuff. We used to be so into it, and then we would watch as other series would get canceled, so Bleach could steal their souls and keep progressing. Because it used to be like one of the bottom listed manga for a while there, back when we were super into manga. And so I had to know how it ended. I found out how it ended. And it's over. It's done, and I think it's okay. The ending's kind of now. Here's the thing: it did not go out on its own terms, and I think that's what makes me more happy than anything. It was canceled. It was canceled. They said we will give you a few more chapters. You have 60 pages, or you have 3 chapters to finish your piece, and then you have to go. And Kubo was like, fine. And so he wrote the ending, and the ending is pretty Full Metal did it better. I think Naruto did it better.
I mean, they had their full run.
I mean, yeah. And Full Metal they didn't want it to keep it going, right? Like that ended on its own terms.
No, I mean, obviously they're going to be better in terms of that quality, but there's canon ships that happen at the end of Bleach. And it had the same problem that Naruto had, where it was like, oh, so these characters interacted maybe once or twice and have a basic have like a very like shitty way of looking at romance. I guess they're romantically compatible. Maybe it's also like 13-year-old me being bitter that my ship didn't come true.
Well, what was the ship?
I really liked Ichigo and Rukia.
Oh, it was an Orihime ship. Shit.
I didn't like Orihime. I didn't think she was an interesting character. I at the time, I don't think I would now either. But
granted,
I really liked Rukia.
I feel like also as you were younger, we also had this bias against Orihime type characters. Granted, Orihime herself wasn't a very interesting character, but still.
Well, it's weird because Josh and I read it for I don't know how many years we would read Bleach, but we got to there's a certain point where we both said fuck it and we just stopped. I think my point was further than yours because I got all the way to Quincy Dracula, and that was a thing. Oh, Sora, by the way, I know you're not into Bleach, but I cannot describe how much of an OC Ichigo really is. because it is like he's not only half Shinigami, he's also half Quincy. His mom was a super high elite Quincy, and that was a thing.
So
and,
he's like Dante from DMC.
Oh,
but more than that.
I forgot about the half angels bullshit.
It's
was
worse now
expelled
though,
from
because
my
it's clearly
mind.
tacked on.
Oh my God.
Whereas with Dante, it was probably part of his character concept.
No, oh my God, Josh. I'm not sure if you, the original Dante was
Dante's half human, half demon.
Yeah, so it is literally Dante.
And then in the reboot, they made him half angel.
It is the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It is tacked on just for why not. So
I like that game, by the way. I still like that game. I still like DMC.
Gameplay's super okay.
Anyways, I'm sorry, I digress.
But anyways, the point is that Bleach is like, I cannot express. Oh no, because it gets better. He loses his powers permanently at one point, and then they're like, "Hey, Ichigo, here's a new power. It makes you, instead of being a samurai man, Reaper
turns you
man,
into a Power Ranger.
It makes you into, it turns you into a fucking
that
Power
Fulbright
Ranger."
arc he shat on that arc.
No, the problem was he didn't keep it at the end. Instead, what happens is he's about to lose. And all of a sudden, his Shinigami friends are like, "Hey, what's up, Ichigo? Here's your powers back. Remember that full year you just spent in this arc? Fuck that shit." And then they just go off and pretend as if it never happened. And maybe that's what I should treat Bleach as. Maybe I should pretend like it never happened, because it's weird to me that we used to read the big three. At least I did. I read One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach when it was running. And now 2 of them are gone. One ended in an okay way. I thought Naruto was a pretty solid ending. I didn't necessarily agree with the shipping stuff, but that's because I'm me. I do shipping panels and shit. Bleach ended in a okay way, in the fact that it's the quality I expected out of Bleach after all these years. And then One Piece is still going. I don't know how to feel about it anymore. It's still one of the best series out there, I feel, in terms of just adventure manga, but if Oda makes anything else after this, I'd be surprised.
You think he's just gonna hang it up?
Because it's well, I hope so, because I remember reading back in 2011 or 2012 where it was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm halfway done with my series," and it's now 2016. I stopped reading. I occasionally look up new stuff every now and then, but like, holy shit. I can't anymore. I love those characters. They're strong characters. But fuck, I can't. So anyways, the whole point of that was Bleach ended. It was mediocre. My ship didn't come true, so I'm all bitter and mean about it.
You just have to say good riddance. I still have that Bleach poster you got me all those years ago.
They had kids. Okay, Rukia ends up with Rukia ends up with what's his name? Yeah, that guy, the guy that Strider cosplayed that one time.
The guy with the red hair?
Yeah, the guy with the red hair.
What?
And Rukia ends up with that guy, and then Ichigo ends up with Orihime because gingers stay together. I feel like maybe that's what it is.
And she has big boobs.
And she has the biggest of boobs.
Yeah.
So,
Ichigo's a boobs man. I mean, whatever. You can't fault the guy for that.
And then Chad ends up with his left hand. And that's how Bleach ends. That's how Bleach ends. It's better than how Soul Eater ends. The manga for Soul Eater, the way that series ends is so baffling, because I can't tell if she wanted it to end this way or if she's like, wow, boobs are a thing. And like that, if you ever get a chance, read the last chapter of Soul Eater.
Just canceled?
Because I can't tell. It seems like everything was working out fine, and then for some reason, it's like the last chapter, she just has this real, like, she even does like a 2-page spread about boobs. Like, it's like a thing. And I can't tell if it's like this bitterness towards the fact that maybe like people wanted more of it, and like she just was like, here, have it all. Like, I can't tell. Like I read that a few years back, and it still baffles me today.
So the manga doesn't have a better ending than the anime.
Well, then, I was really hoping they were gonna get like another season to finish that off, to cap it off the proper way, like Brotherhood style. But I feel like I'm on a huge tangent. You guys should stop.
No, it's interesting to watch this train
where
crash.
are we going with after Bleach? I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, I haven't watched Bleach. I'm just interested to look at the tire fire from afar. So.
I like to imagine what it is. It's like a Viking funeral, except it's on like a trash, like a garbage fucking ship. Like there's all this garbage.
There's probably some people that are listening to this that really like Bleach. So
I don't know how many of those are left.
If you that's the problem. It's not like let's say, like it's not like we're talking about Full Metal Alchemist where we're like like everyone here I think watched Full Metal and I think we all can really appreciate and respect it.
Dude, I love Full Metal, yeah.
I can't respect Bleach. I can't because it had Josh and I've had this conversation 1,000 times off camera. It was such a strong start. It was such a strong start, and like it was such a it's what got people in, and then slowly over time it just fell apart, and now we're watching the wreckage.
It's like here. The first 100 chapters were really good,
and this giant ball of this Katamari Damacy ball of like garbage crushed other series on its way, and that's why I'm bitter, because I saw there were series that may not have been the best, but they were definitely more interesting than keeping this animated corpse going for as long as it could. And I feel like Kubo's a really strong artist. I think he has the potential and has always been a really great artist. I think his story
I hope that,
there.
like a new series will like give him like the room he needs to like start something really interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
like he seems
there.
to have like
a
talent for starting stuff out really strong.
I feel like a problem with a lot of series is that they have great starts, but I feel like not a lot of people understand exactly where they want to end it, which is why I have so much respect for the mangaka who's doing Attack on Titan, because he knows exactly where he wants to end it, and he's going to be like, okay, volume 20, done. We're done.
No more.
No more Attack on Titan. And I have infinite respect for that.
We know that it's going to end.
That is really good.
There is a definite termination point. But I mean, like, a lot of Shonen Jump series aren't built like that. Yeah, I mean, you read Bakuman, so you should know.
I feel like a big argument there is like, wow, you guys watched like the Disney, like that's like having a Disney movie about making Disney movies. Like that's what Bakuman is.
Oh gosh.
Like I can't tell you how many times I've seen that argument like on online forums and stuff. Well, I watched Bakuman, so I know how manga's made.
Bakuman's really specific to Shonen Jump, though. I feel
like we just lost Andre like in all of this. Like it's like we're just talking about shonen bullshit.
No, I mean I like my fair share of shonen bullshit. I mean, I wouldn't be watching JoJo's if I didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
JoJo's is like the quintessential shonen bullshit.
Yeah, I think honestly a lot of what I'm watching is probably shonen at this point. I mean, would you call Mob Psycho shonen?
Yeah, it's totally shonen.
I would.
It's like really strongly shonen, actually.
Yeah, ReZero is shonen as well for sure.
I
don't know.
I feel like a lot of like the thing is like there was a lot of series I started and then I just didn't like. There's somewhere down the line where I just stopped reading manga and I stopped watching anime, as much as I used to. And I'm trying. I keep trying to get back on the bandwagon, but the train is going faster, and I'm starting like my legs are getting tired, and I'm reaching out to get on it. But then the Steven Universe like water bottle in my pocket's like, we could take a break though. So like. I feel like a lot of it's like I feel like I tapped out around when Blue Exorcist became a thing. Because that was the first time I ran into a series that all the cards were there. It was something that I should have been into, and I couldn't drag myself into watching it.
I feel like nowadays I'm just starting to, now that I'm becoming more involved and I'm getting to know my own tastes a little better with not just anime but shows in general. I'm starting to just become more loyal to studios specifically.
I mean, it's like teams of people who make stuff that you like.
Yeah, exactly. So like a lot of Madhouse stuff. Like if Madhouse's name is on it, I'll give it a shot at least. Same with obviously David Productions, but they're just pretty much JoJo's house at this point, which is fine with me. But like Trigger and Ufotable and all those guys, like if their name's on it, then like okay, I'll check it out, you know, and then filter from there. I don't know, and I think now more than ever, there's so much shit that's coming out.
It's
that,
like it's not something
I feel
that
like there's
you
something for
necessarily
everybody.
want to try to keep up with everything. It's just finding what you want to
and
watch,
I don't think
and then like watching it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm just applying my 3-episode rule to a lot of things, and then just like okay, like you know, like last season I had like 4 different things that I was watching. This season I only have like 1 or 2.
Too short
you know,
to waste it on like
not that
series
bad.
that are crap, because there's plenty more crap now than there was before too.
But there's also, I feel like there's also plenty of good stuff too. I think there's just
like,
as much good stuff coming out. You know,
probably like 3 times more anime coming out than like there was in like 1990. So it's like you just have to sort
and maybe
through
the
it all.
ratio isn't quite there. Yeah, maybe the ratio isn't quite there, but I think you would not be hard pressed to find at least one worthwhile series coming out airing each season.
It's like,
you know what I mean?
The numbers are just inflated, like the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's kind of where it's like, I hate being this guy, but it's like there's also the level of like okay, Kniver, right? The perfect example of that. Like I honestly, after the podcast, I'm honestly like thinking like, man, I will probably check out one more episode after we're done here tonight if I don't hop onto Overwatch. and like, it's just one of those. It's just a thing. You know, I really enjoyed that idea, but like at the same time, it's like I feel like it's this weird. I feel like it's a minority. It's a very minority like. Or I'm sorry, I'm in a minority. I'm
right,
also
you don't have to bring
a
race into this.
minority. Yes. I'm in a minority with anime fandoms because essentially what it boils down to is there are people out there who can just marathon stuff and watch anything that comes out of Japan and just watch anything from a specific studio, and that's fine. I don't have time anymore.
Yeah.
Real life and other hobbies have taken up my space and everything, but I'm still trying. I can tell you this much right now. One Piece Gold, for example, is a film that's going to be released sometime soon, and when that comes out in a way that I can watch it, I will probably try to watch it because I've watched every One Piece film. It's just part of what I do. But like it's just gotten to this weird part where it's like I wish I could watch more anime, because there does seem to be some interesting ones out there. Right now I'm right here with JoJo, and I look every now and then and I'm like, oh, I was supposed to watch Fate Stay Night. And then I think back and I'm like, maybe I'll back away from that. But like then again, this year I watched Death Parade and I watched a bunch of different shows. So like maybe it's just I'm not watching anything super in the season right now. Maybe that's what it's more about. Where it's like there's certain things where it's like certain people will recommend things. And admittedly, Josh, you know, every now and then I love the shit on your recommendations, but I will watch a couple of your recommendations, and I do find joy out of it. Like
reminds me of how long it took me to
like
get you to read MX0.
That MX0 was one of those series that like I was very genuinely surprised. It starts off as a Ichi series, and then it actually has like genuine stuff going on, and I thought it was it's the mangaka, it's the Ichi mangaka,
like Pretty
from our
Face.
fucking childhood. Yeah, fucking Pretty.
Oh god, that series. It's been a really long time since I thought about that.
I didn't think we'd be talking about this. I didn't think we'd be talking about this on the podcast this week. I thought we were going to talk about Stranger Things and Steven Universe, and now I'm looking at like, fuck.
It's
we're
because you
talking
have
about
me pushing like
manga.
the manga agenda right here.
I hate you. That's why you're a guest on the show, because
Damn.
Can't have too much of this.
He's a guest that's welcome anytime.
Yeah, Josh, you're welcome anytime. but holy shit, you really played me like a goddamn fiddle tonight and just really redirected it to what the podcast you wanted.
Oh, we're talking about Metal Gear
shit.
Solid now? Is that our transition? Is that a
Metal Gear
Solid
Survive
transition?
is a thing. We need to
what?
talk about that because all of us.
I was kidding, but okay.
No, we should probably talk about this. We are all Metal Gear Solid fans. Metal Gear Solid Survive, or Metal Gear Survive is a thing.
Metal Gear Survive looks
Wait,
amazing,
what is
guys.
Metal Gear Survive?
I'm really hyped about it. Oh,
Josh,
I was just kidding.
no.
You haven't seen it yet?
Josh? Oh.
Shit.
Oh.
I haven't been keeping up on Metal Gear news.
I feel like we have to tell Josh.
The property
I
was
feel
just
like
dead.
I feel like I'm about to tell Josh his cat just died or something.
I thought it was more going to be like, not only does Santa not exist, there's an anti-Santa.
There is now an anti-Santa that's going to be taking away your presents
shit.
this Christmas.
Its name is Konami.
Yeah.
Okay, do you mind if I take the...
No, it's a video game.
I was going to say,
It's
do you
a
mind if I
video
take the reins on this one?
Yeah, you go ahead. You have more emotional weight to this. Okay, like disclaimer, I've played Peace Walker. I played 4, Peace Walker, and 5.
Oh man, none of the PS2
Alright,
titles.
So
No, I know. I've watched plenty of retrospectives on them, so I know the story overall, but no, I haven't played them yet. I need to. Anyways, Mitch, take it away.
okay, so here's the thing, Josh. Imagine, if you will, because we both finished the Phantom Pain, right?
Oh, you finished it now?
Oh, I
boy.
finished it because I had to, and now I hate myself for it. So imagine, if you will, that there's a magical land where Big Boss is on that helicopter, and those helicopters are flying away, and then all of a sudden, no, a wormhole opens up in the middle of the sky, and it drags all of fucking Mother Base and everything, and throws it into the wormhole, and then now a bunch of you and a couple of friends who were also members of the stupid base thing are now in a weird zombie world, fighting crystal zombies. Metal Gear in the Fox engine.
Oh man, that sounds like it would cost a lot of GMP.
It's a co-op 4-player zombie survival game.
I can't wait to get through all those very important FOB screens that you have to get through every time you load the game.
Oh,
Part of the Metal Gear
I can't wait
franchise.
for it. I can't wait.
you can
Lots of
visit the
story
shop
to be uncovered.
go to not have these display again.
Now, to be fair, it's very heavily implied to be alternate universe stuff. It's like Metal Gear Acid or any of that. And that's the only fair thing I can say from this, because honestly, this is one of those games that's just like, you know what? I can't be upset because I was upset when Kojima left because I knew that the series was done and there's nothing more that can be done. The fact that this is being made is like, okay, you know what, Konami, you milk the cash cow all you want. If you want an effective way to milk the cash cow, you will give the property to Platinum Games
And make Metal Gear Rising 2, please.
Make
That's all I
Revengeance
want now.
too, and that's what I want.
Oh,
Now,
man.
if you really want to shove it to Kojima, you will give it to Platinum, and make another goddamn Metal Gear Rising game, because
Except instead of Raiden, you play as Big Boss.
no, do you remember?
You get to play as a gecko.
Do you remember how I'm not sure if you guys as I say this and it's like, watch it not be 100% true. Kojima, if I remember correctly, was like when he wanted to toss the idea around for a sequel, he wanted to make it about Frank Yeager. Now, I'm not sure if you know who Frank Yeager is.
Gray Fox.
But Gray Fox, the original
That's Gray Fox.
cyborg
Okay,
ninja,
that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
And people were like, well, how would that work? And he's like, well, they reanimate his corpse through nanomachines.
Nanomachines, son.
And
like blood
I
smear?
believe it was like, Josh, it's like, you know what I'm talking about though, right? Where it's like that he wanted a Frank Yeager Revengeance game. And I would love it more than anything in the whole world if we had a Revengeance 2. I would play that shit on the channel immediately.
Honestly, a Gray Fox game sounds really cool.
A Gray Fox game taking place in the 80s sounds cool.
Yeah.
But I think that's before he became the cyborg ninja.
Well, was there ever a time where he was a cyborg ninja and not crazy? Or
I don't think so. I think he got
when he
really
became a cyborg ninja,
stuff
that's when he was
after,
crazy.
Like, he got beaten by Snake in like Metal Gear 2. Like Metal Gear, not
Yeah. No. I know. I realize. Yes. Not Metal Gear Solid 2, but Metal Gear 2 on the MSX.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, the point of all this is that Survive is definitely a thing. It's going to be a thing. You can't be upset because it is a property that they own, but if anything, just I feel bad for the person who works on that game. Anyone who works on the game, I'm just going to feel bad for it because you know what it boils down to? They are going to have the worst pressures in the world, and there's already an immediate bias because it's like when Joss Whedon was no longer directing the Marvel films, and everyone's like, okay, well, whoever comes in better be fucking good because people. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like with Joss Whedon, with that specific situation, there's a lot of people that are actually getting a little sick of Joss Whedon a little bit. I remember when Avengers 2 was out, people were like, all right, like, this is a little too quippy for me. Like, I think I'm done, Like, whereas so many people, like, pretty much universally loved Kojima, and you heard a lot of people saying, like, okay, after Metal Gear Solid 5, I'm not going to even recognize any other Metal Gear game because Kojima's not going to be making it.
Kojima's one of those people that you love getting yanked around by.
Yeah. Well, in a way, I feel like Kojima and Araki are really similar in that way, almost. If this doesn't make any sense for a manga standpoint because this never happens. But if Araki were to be like, all right, I'm done with JoJo's, and then like Shonen Jump was like, all right, well, we're gonna keep making JoJo's, so
well, technically, like Shonen Jump actually owns the rights to all of their series. Actually, like Shonen Jump owns the rights to all the series that are in it, not the authors. Which is really shitty when you think about it.
That is weird, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, if they decided to continue on with JoJo's, then I'm sure myself and you guys especially would probably be like, all right, well...
Well, okay, I'm not sure if you know this or not. As before you finish that statement, let me explain to you something that always bothers me. I don't know if you know this or not, but there are novels about JoJo that have been written. And these novels talk about... Okay, I'll go over like a non-spoiler one. There are like hidden stories that happen when the manga panels weren't being drawn. So like there's like a Polar Neff story. There's the one that gets me and the one I hate the most is the Dio one. And these were not written by Araki. These were just published by Shueisha. And essentially it's like they kind of go, it's other people's interpretations of the characters. And the thing that gets me is when people use this material for okay, the most specific example I can think of is I make a comment about Dio or something, right? And I'm shipping trash. I ship Jonathan and Dio. I think that's important. And that's one of my favorite ships in JoJo. Well, Mitchell, in the novels, it says, I don't care what it says in the novels, but Mitchell, though, the novels say, the novels written not by Araki say this, and it's like, okay, well, they were not written by Araki, so I don't care.
It's like talking about like extended universe stuff for Star Wars.
Yeah.
But Mitchell, Metal Gear Survive says Big Boss grew 8 arms and became a titan.
He became a god.
Well,
and ascended to the Hindu pantheon.
But Josh, Big Boss grew Asura's Wrath rage arms and fought gods. God, I hate the novels so much.
Yeah, so then you just ignore them. It's fine.
Yeah. I wish it was that easy.
Okay.
It's a dumb fandom thing where it literally just boils down to I don't see it as canon and some people do, so that's what it boils down to. Mm-hmm. Although I do have to admit there was one really cool novel that was an interesting idea. There's a spoiler in part 6 that I won't tell you guys about, but I'm sure you guys know about. And so they start talking about like what if scenarios, and one of the what if scenarios was, what if in part 3 when Jotaro goes to fight Dio, it's like some imposter. Like it's some stand user who's pretending to be, like, he heard the story of somehow and he's pretending to be Dio. Like, that actually got me like, that would have been kind of cool. Like, I feel like it wouldn't have nearly the emotional impact or anything, but like it would have been kind of cool if that was the case. What if? But anyways, we're so off topic, and we're like, this one has been, you guys can tell that this is the first podcast in 2 weeks because there's literally no format anymore.
No, we've lost all semblance of it.
We've been talking about whatever was on our minds. Literally that.
Just breaking down.
Speaking of whatever's on our minds, I think they should make an Overwatch movie.
You and a lot of other people, definitely.
I after watching the new animated short, I cared more about Bastion. I cared more about Bastion in 8 minutes than I could ever care about Wally in an hour and a half. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. Like,
it was really good. It was really good. I like Wally, but it was really good. Favorite short so far, I'd say, which is surprising because I hate Bastion in game.
Oh my god. That short's really great, and you can definitely tell this is part of the second batch because the quality increased.
Oh yeah.
Just a little bit. We're on the 2-hour mark on the podcast, guys. I just looked. I did not realize we're on the 2-hour mark on the podcast.
So, shows you how far the format is
down the rabbit hole we've
broken
gone
down.
If you guys stayed with us the entire time, congratulations. You truly are amazing fans. Also, quick shout out to the people who were part of the stream last Saturday, because you guys are the best. So I think you guys, Sora, Josh, you guys kind of pop in every now and then for the streams. Those guys are, White Tiger, the Casual Space Jammer, and I'm forgetting the last one. I'm so sorry. I can't remember at the top of my head. But you guys are amazing. 3 really great devoted fans come in and watch me and Strider play Overwatch on the consoles, and they just make puns the entire time. And I keep making Aaron Carter references every now and then during the stream. I don't know why. Don't ask. I've
learned not to ask at this point.
And they made puns about Aaron Carter, so they are the best. And I just wanted to give that quick shout out to them before we start wrapping things up on the podcast this week. It's just great. So let's read the comments.
Oh boy.
So,
yeah.
Astral Muffin, I feel so bad because this was like 2 weeks ago. Astral Muffin 105 says, always a pleasure when you guys get to read one of my comments. It feels good to be noticed. But yeah, sorry if I sounded a little snippy with that comment. Mitch, that wasn't my intention at all. Good Velvetcast as always. I can't wait for the next one. This is in reference to the fact that
it's the Suicide Squad one.
Yeah,
right?
It was the Suicide Squad one.
Oh, he didn't sound snippy at all.
Yeah, Astral, you were super fine. I feel like I accidentally read it snippy.
That's what that, and I was like, yeah.
I feel like as we wrap things up, I'm like, all right, we gotta get going. So yeah, don't worry about Astral. It was super good. It's always great to hear from all of our fans, and Astral's been one of the ones that's been with us since like the very beginning. So
yeah.
Jabberwock Zeno says, I really don't like Alola forms. I was half tempted to read that in like a southern accent. I get what they are going for with natural selection and adaptation, but I think they're going way too far with the idea. A lot of the typings are completely arbitrary. Why is a fire or ground type Pokemon suddenly a type that's almost completely inverted? And to make matters worse, by trying to explain it with the explanation isn't really good, which it's not because the desert's right next to the ice area in Alola, so why the hell would Sandshrew and Vulpix just live there? It only makes it even worse. I can dig Executors because the design and typing is still similar, and even and that, sorry, is still similar enough that it feels sufficiently related to the base Pokemon, and prior Dex entries, it has been implied that it's originally from other regions to begin with. But even then, I'd rather it just be a Mega. Speaking of Megas, it annoys me how they just threw Megas out only to replace them with something that's extremely similar, but worse. In general, Gen 7 seems to have a lot of gimmicks, Alola forms, Z moves, no gyms. Nearly every new Pokemon has some sort of unique brand new ability, etc., and I'm not a fan of that. Who wants to get this one first?
So I can definitely see why people wouldn't like Alola forms. I get that they're not for everyone. I think at some point you like, and I get what they're saying about the fact that like, okay, like we randomly have an Ice type Ninetales and Sandslash in what should be like an island nation, you know, like, so it should be like a lot like more like tropical Pokemon and stuff like that. But I think it's a solid excuse to have kind of new takes on old Pokemon, you know. And I think that Alola forms introduce kind of like a potentially cool idea of like refreshing old Pokemon, which I think is in a more elegant way than Mega Evolutions, you know? Because I feel like that's what they were trying to go for with Mega Evolutions at first, you know, was like not only to change the meta up a little bit, but also like, oh, hey, like, remember these old starters? Well, now they're even more badass now, you know? And like that kind of felt a little weird. And I've never really been a huge fan of Mega Evolutions. This is kind of from somebody who doesn't play competitive Pokemon, so I don't really care so much from the gameplay perspective, but from the design perspective, they kind of seem a little over-designed, and I'm not a huge fan of it. So I'm okay with them turning away from that mechanic, and I'm not as bent up about it. But I also really like the Alola forms because they're simple, but they're like a totally new tank. It's like the same, the opposite, like the other side of the same coin almost. You know what I mean? Like it's believable that this is an Ice type Ninetales, an Ice type Sandshrew, you know, but it's still cool and new.
The thing is, and here's the thing, I just wanted to address this real quick. We actually recorded another episode 6 last weekend with Gang Mudo and me. And like I said before, we had some technical issues and that's why it didn't go out. But Gang Mudo actually super agreed with this comment when we went to review it. And we actually kind of almost got into an argument because essentially what it boils down to is I think that you guys know my opinion from the last podcast, obviously. I think that all this stuff is really cool. But I also feel like there's a really big difference. I'm someone who just got back into Pokemon. I just got back with X and Y. And I'm so open to all these things. I think Z moves are cool, but I will admit that they are a little over the top. That for me was a little like, okay, maybe tone it down a bit. But like, I don't see anything wrong with doing all these new stuff because if what everyone says is true, then they'll be dropped next gen. So I don't see it being I see it being like, this is just for the people who want it, whatever. Like the fact that there are type variants is the coolest thing to me with the next generation because that is something that happens. And yeah, it's extreme, but I feel like if it wasn't, then it would be basic and you might as well just have new Pokemon. Like,
and then that'd be it.
Like, yeah, I can totally see people saying, why don't you just make the Ice Vulpix and the Ice Ninetales new Pokemon? You could do that, but wouldn't people just make the same dumb comparison, like why we have ice foxes when we have fire foxes and shit? Like everyone would find something new to just poke a hole with, because I feel like that's the type of franchise that Pokemon is. It's been around for so long that you can just find, like, no matter what they do, someone's not going to be happy, and I think it's better to just roll with the punches in this case.
Yeah. And I mean, like, they gotta try to change up the formula in some way, shape, or form. I think it's really cool that they're moving away from gyms. I think it'd be interesting. If it doesn't work out, then I can't fault them for trying at this point, you know?
The series has gone on for, like, what, 25 years now? So, 20 years?
20 years. Let's go 20. Yeah.
I just think I mean, as someone who dropped out at Ruby and then went back in for Pokemon X, it's very, I mean, I even went out of my way and bought old copies of Pokemon to play them. Pokemon Black and White are actually really interesting for completely different reasons, which was like you go into Pokemon X and Y and like almost or not X and Y, Pokemon Black and White, and it's like every Pokemon you catch in that region is a new Pokemon, right? I mean, that's what it felt like, at least. I don't remember catching any like older generation Pokemon. Each game does something different, and I can't fault them for trying something new. And I understand where you're coming from, Jabber, but this is, I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I think that like it, it's, if you don't like it, I hate saying it like this, but it's literally just wait until the next generation. But
I mean that's also really like it's a total bummer if you're not a fan of the changes and you have to wait till the next generation, because the next generation is like probably another 3 years away at least.
Well, I mean, they're gonna have their remake of what, like Diamond and Pearl here. I mean,
if the pattern shows, yeah, that's true. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like this is such a dismissive answer almost, but like that's honestly how I feel, and I'm kind of sorry that I'm being a kind of a dick, but like it's just how that's how I feel about it. I personally am excited, and if you're not excited, I also see where you're coming from. But that's the exact reason why I got out of Pokemon, because I wasn't excited anymore.
Right.
So, and that sucks, and I'm sorry. The third and last comment for this week is McAfee Nix. They say, Nani? They read the comments. What? Honestly, I was just minding my own business scrolling through Tumblr when you mentioned my name. Gave me the spooks. For like 3 of these I've listened to, you'd think I'd notice that you guys read the comments. I know what this is talking about. So since we started doing the cast, we've tried to get to the comment section. Sometimes you guys leave comments, and we can read them off. Sometimes you don't. And sometimes we run out of time, and I'm just like, fuck it, we have to end it. Much like I should have done tonight, but I felt it was important to get to these comments. So yeah, I'm sorry that we're still super new. Like everything with the channel's always new. We're only like a year or 2 years old at this point. Everything we do is going to be new. We're just getting into streaming, and the cast is the new thing. So everything's experimental and unstable. So yeah, that's the only answer I can give you. And I'm really also thank you for watching 3 of these.
Yeah. Stuck around for 3. That's a good sign. As
you guys can tell, I'm getting a little loopy because I am exhausted. I am so tired today.
I feel you.
Anyways, guys, anything, Josh? I know you were kind of quiet.
No, it's just I didn't have very much to say about like Pokemon, honestly.
As a non-fan of Pokemon,
I mean, I watched Pokemon's anime when it came out. It's really strange to think of it as an anime.
You know what we should do? I should ban you from episodes of the cast until something big happens with Steven Universe or anime, which is most of the time. So I guess
just ban me so that I never come back until like, oh wait, something big happened recently in Steven Universe. Let's talk. Oh wait, sorry, Mitchell, I forgot to watch this week.
God damn it. Anyways, guys, next time on the Velvet Room. So as you guys, just to make sure we all are on the same page, there's not going to be a lot of episodes this week. I keep saying that. It's super real. I'm going to go through surgery. It's going to be a thing.
Super serious surgery. Put you under general anesthesia.
Yeah, they're going to... They're removing skull bits out of my skull. So,
oh shit, don't die.
I will try my best to get a video out on Friday. If not Friday, then Sunday. There has to be at least one other video. So that's how I'm looking at it, and I wanted to apologize again, but that's the format of the week. On Saturday, I think Strider and I are streaming King of Fighters 14. So that's a whole nother setup. That's going to be crazy. And anything that you guys are looking forward to this week?
I got nothing, dude. It's gonna be a busy week, so just looking forward to the end of it almost.
Finished with like moving and like getting everything settled up and like buying textbooks and stuff. That'll be what my week is.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's the end of the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Oh man, it almost feels like we should just have like a closing piece, honestly.
Oh my god, hang on, let me... Closing time!
Shit, I haven't even had a drink yet. Shit.